get the fuck out of your Pornhub trance and go look in the fucking mirror. If you are watching this video, it's time to quit the Pornhub and confront that bitch. Because you have to understand that while you stroke your dick, there's been millions of ancestors who have suffered before you. And so the point is to have all this suffering in this lineage, the continuation of creating something more to strive and to survive, just for you to be a porn addict goes to show what a waste of space you are. And so we have to understand that you need to rid the entrancement of your Pornhub addiction. And so Pornhub is the root causality of why you are a docile bitch. Every day you wake up and you shed the only reward system to Pornhub. And so what we have to understand is that you didn't even deserve that. And so while you jerk off the porn and you sit there and you stroke your dick to pixels with bitches you'll never fuck, we have to understand that there's lineages since the dawn of human history that had to survive and suffer for you to even exist. And so for you to exist and then be this docile, weak, infertile porn addict goes to show who the fuck you are internally. And so what we have to truly digest is that if you don't quit your Pornhub addiction, you will die a bitch. Because you will go through life and you will always seek the instant gratification with something that serves you less. You have to understand how your physiological access actually works. You have to understand that your body, your mind, if you dilute this with instant gratification, well, you won't be gratifying yourself in the most gratifying ways possible. And you won't have that drive. You won't have that push to move forward and excel beyond. And so what we have to understand is that every time you watch porn, you are basically telling the world that you are a bitch and you are committed to dying a bitch. And so the moment you quit porn, you'll realize that you'll have more energy. You'll realize that you can actually exist in an environment without projecting your unfulfilled lust, your overwhelming consumerism, your overwhelming desire for something that you don't fulfill naturally. And then you'll realize that you can actually operate of higher levels of thought because you aren't thinking with your fucking dick all the time. And so what we have to understand is that you are programming yourself to be a bitch when you watch porn. And then you instantly gratify yourself with something that serves you less. And through time, you intertwine yourself to being a lesser individual. And so we have to understand that there's people who will argue against this, and those people are obviously addicted to porn. These people will pretend like Pornhub does not kill brain cells. You have to understand that masturbation kills brain cells. That's a study. And every time you sit there and kill your brain cells, well, that equates to you being stupider through time. And so the individual who retains their seed and channels that drive, energy, and focus into things that gratify them actually, well, we have to understand that this individual is going to be smarter than the person who watches porn 5 times a fucking day. And the person who watches porn 5 times a fucking day and beats their dick all fucking day, well, this person is going to be stupid as fuck, not just in the psychological aspect of self, but also in the neurological and physiological aspects of self. And so through the space and time continuum, you demonstrate your desperation and deprivation through the actions you take, which is to jerk off all fucking day. And so we have to understand that you are entranced by Pornhub, you are addicted, and you are a slave to mediocrity. And so what you have to do is cut the cord. You have to cut the bullshit. You have to actually look in the mirror and realize that you are addicted to porn. And when you realize you're addicted to porn, and you looked in the mirror and actually saw that, you know, what you're doing is fucking weird, and the way this overwhelming desire for lust is manifesting through your existence is doing nothing but dragging you down, dragging your mind down all the way to your dick instead of your fucking brain, we have to understand the level of mediocrity that you truly exist at. And you have to understand that, again, you're not just only depriving yourself from the mental faculties of your mind, you are also killing brain cells to get an instant quick fix of dopamine that doesn't fucking fix you, only breaks you more. And so then we come to the conclusion that you as an individual you're perpetuating yourself on a cycle of remaining a stupid piece of shit. And so every time you pick up Pornhub, well, you have to go look in the mirror and confront that pussy bitch. And remember that you will die that shit. And every time you refuse to look at yourself while you're doing it, you have to understand that the way you behave is a reflection of your worth. And if that's what you believe you're worth, go ahead. You're going to die that, and you are going to be a failure. And if you're okay with that, if you're worth that, well, go ahead and show us by the way you behave in your life. But what we have to truly understand is that there are people who believe they're worth more. And if you are one of those individuals and you are stuck and you are entrapped and entrained by something you don't want to be entrained to, you have to understand that the porn addiction, any addiction to the fact, is a parameter, is a limitation on your mind. And so we have to understand that these substances, these affect you neurologically, psychologically, and physiologically. And so this means that you will not be at the optimum state for life. This means you are operating at a lower level than the best. This means you are in a deficit compared to the person who isn't suffering from the inadequacy of addiction. And so what we have to understand is if you seek something externally to maintain your internal state, this means you're operating from a state of heterostasis. So this means that you need external substances to balance your mind to feel equilibrium because you're too fucking weak to look in the mirror and confront that bitch. And so what we do is we operate from a state of homeostasis where us, ourselves, regulate and modulate ourselves to maintain equilibrium from actually looking at ourselves and pursuing activities that bring forth such qualities. And so instead of becoming and remaining a deficit throughout existence, we actually amplify ourselves in the faculty in use to actually maintain a state of homeostasis. Well, you have to understand that this requires work. This requires actual time and energy. And so now we are being more sufficient than you, we are better than you, and you are inferior to us through conduct. And so every man is born on the same equal field, but every man has a different quality of life. And so if your life is the quality of subordination, procrastination, and the lack of individuation, well, we have to understand that the person who's excelling in every metric beyond you, this person is obviously superior to you in conduct, and you are the contrast of. And so when we have good or bad, well, you are the polarity of good, meaning you fucking suck. And so the best thing to do is rid your Pornhub entrainment and look in the fucking mirror, bitch. And remember that physiologically, neurologically, and psychologically, you are operating in a state of deficiency, and you are seeking an external pleasure to heterostasis, to sequence yourself into heterostasis to enter a state of equilibrium, because that is what you lack. And so this means you lack something within yourself, and you are seeking an external thing to fill that for you. And so what we have to understand is that nothing will fill the hole within you but looking at that pussy bitch accumulation of wasted time and energy channeled through the attention to distract oneself from that pussy bitch, reflecting back at them in the mirror, which is a direct reflection of the way they treat themselves through their conduct, and a direct reflection of their self-worth. And so you can be worthless, and you can seek Pornhub to equalize the unbalancing weights, the unbalanced mind that you exist within, or you can look in the mirror and truly confront that bitch. And the people who believe they're worth more will always prove that through the way they exist and operate through time. And so if you believe Pornhub is going to fill the hole within you, well, stupid bitch, look in the mirror and realize that you're leaking the hole, and the hole is splurging all your unconsumed desire into the world for others to have to experience, because you're too fucking weak to realize how pathetic you are for stroking your dick because you can't get no pussy, bitch. And so the best thing to do, again, is look in the fucking mirror with your shirt off this time and glare at the fact you have died a failure, because you are basically choosing every day to be one. And so when you end up in the casket, the accumulation of failure is the direct correspondent of your existence. And so if you want to be more, if you believe you're worth more, if you're tired of being worthless, well, quit the porn addiction, look in the mirror, realize you only live once. And if you want to be a castration of a neutered piece of shit, well, go ahead. You will die that, and we will outperform you in every metric. And then when it comes to a point where we have to now compare existences non-verbally, when we come to the point, when we come to the arrival where non-verbal communication, simply the emanation of one's existence, a direct correspondent to the frequency that they operate from, is now emanating something beyond you. Well, now you have to look at the mirror of life, which is the wasted potential, which you chose to channel into Pornhub instead of confronting that stupid bitch in the fucking mirror. You bitch. Remember, you only live once. And if you can't make the sacrifices needed to be something more, well, you are going to die less, worth less, value less. And the only value is the value set in motion from the individual to create outcomes that reflect high worth. And so value and worth coexist as one in a coherent, cohesive state. And so what you have to understand is that there are people who exist in a state of constant accruement of value, who accrue value through time, and this is going to reflect in the way they conduct themselves. And there are people who perpetuate themselves on infinite cycles of distraction to distract themselves from that pussy bitch in the mirror. And so the choice of existence and the modality of existing is your choice to choose. We're not here to force you to change. We're here to reveal to you what the fuck you refuse to look at in the fucking mirror. And we're here to give you the chance to either do some shit, to fix some shit, or to die a putrid bitch. It's that fucking simple. Remember, you only live once. And this opportunity is the opportunity that will change your life. So if you want to get on the program, if you're tired of being a porn addict bitch and you need some fucking help, well, get the fuck on the program and we'll show you what the fuck you need to do by giving you habits that is going to create a high quality individual that is going to facilitate the necessity of leveling up in all areas of life, if that is physically and mentally, and then we create an indomitable, impenetrable character, which will reflect the power of their will in the way they work financially. So what you have to do is understand that your character, the best version of you, is going to get to your goals the fastest. And so if you have goals, well, you need to create a mind, a framework, a mental framework, and an ego that is going to get you there in the fastest way. So most people, their ego is the accumulation of conformity, deformity, and abnormality sanctioned to the abyss of inevitable failure as they choose to put their time and energy in porn instead of confronting that pussy in the mirror. And so what we do is we create the masterful individual that you need to be through the habits that we give you and the information we provide in the community. And then we set you on a path that is straightforward and you have the choice to walk it. So what will it be? To be a desecrate, low-level piece of shit inhabitation of mediocrity, or to truly unfold your potential, which may go unlived if you don't make the choice to live it? Peace!